Let me tell you an awesome story from ancient times. Our story begins in Norway, a place where the weather is always cold and snowy, like living in a giant freezer. But the people there have warm and kind hearts. In this chilly land lived a young and enthusiastic guy named Ragnar. From a young age, Ragnar was always thinking about adventures. Instead of playing in the snow like the other kids, he would attack trees with his axe and say to himself, "One day, I'll become the greatest Viking in history." Ragnar could think of nothing but becoming a hero. Every time his father Sigurd told him, "Son, go shovel the snow." "Dad, I'm practicing to conquer the world one day." His father would just smile and say, "Oh, all right, my hero son." One day in the forest, Ragnar encountered a strange old man with a long staff, looking like a wizard.
"Young man, one day you will become the greatest Viking in history. But you must be brave and fear nothing."
Thrilled, Ragnar returned to his village and doubled his training from that day on. Eventually, an opportunity arose. The village king, an old and sick man without an heir, decided to hold a grand competition to find a successor. This competition included several stages: axe fighting, archery, and wrestling. With hope and determination, Ragnar entered the competition. He fought with all of his might and successfully passed all the stages. When he defeated his final opponent in the fight, the king approached him and said, "Ragnar, you have shown that you are worthy of leadership. From today, you are the leader of our village, and you bear the title of Earl Ragnar." The title Earl was one of the highest noble titles in Viking culture. It was given to tribal leaders who had great power and influence. This was Ragnar's first big step towards power. He quickly began organizing the village, training men, and improving their weaponry. But his heart always yearned for distant lands. Whenever he looked at old maps, he dreamed of lands full of wealth and glory. Finally, one day he told his men, "Guys, it's time for a grand adventure. I heard there are great treasures waiting for us in England. Are you ready?"
Yes, we're ready!
They began preparing their long and narrow ships, sturdy enough to withstand sea storms. At last, the day arrived, and the Vikings set their ships to sail with great excitement. The sea was calm, and a cool breeze caressed their faces. But as they got farther from the shore, the waves grew taller, and the sea became stormier. Yet the Vikings, unafraid, continued with laughter and singing their famous songs.
Warriors blaze, skies stuck above our heads, Odin watches from the shades. Mountains high and cold, stories ever bold. In the heart of storm, our spirits are never sold. Rise, warriors of the night, in battles we fight our light. With the gods by our side, we will conquer the fight.
After several days at sea, they finally reached the shores of England. The night was dark, and the Vikings decided to attack the village under the cover of darkness. Earl Ragnar told them, "All right, guys, now's the time to show ourselves. Remember, act with ferocity and speed, but make sure we have no casualties." The Vikings, with their quiet and firm steps, approached the village. The villagers, who were just having dinner, were shocked to see the fierce and ruthless Vikings and started running. But the Vikings, with skill and speed, looted the houses and took all the gold and jewels. By morning, the village was in disarray, and the Vikings returned to their ships with their treasures. Earl Ragnar and his comrades returned to Norway with pride. Back in Norway, they celebrated with a huge feast. The entire village was filled with laughter and joy. Earl Ragnar, with a big smile, told everyone, "Guys, this is just the beginning. We need to go more places and gain more wealth." Days and months passed, and Ragnar and his Vikings went on several more adventures. Each time they returned, they brought back more treasures and showed them off in the village. But Ragnar, never satisfied and always wanting more, looked at the old maps and thought, why not go back to England? This time, we want to conquer kingdoms. This decision led the Vikings to prepare their ships once again for another journey. But this time, things were different. The King of England, Aella, ruling in Northumbria, had heard about the previous Viking raids and was organizing his army for defense. Ragnar, with a large force and advanced equipment, attacked England, but this time he couldn't win easily. In one of the fierce battles, Ragnar was captured and fell into the hands of King Aella. Aella, who harbored great hatred for Ragnar, decided to punish him brutally. He threw Ragnar into a pit filled with venomous snakes. But even in those dire moments, Ragnar didn't lose his courage and laughed out loud. "Hey, Aella, if the snakes are as useless as you, then I have nothing to worry about." And he laughed loudly. The snakes gradually bit Ragnar, and he bravely met his end. But Ragnar's death was not just an end. It was a beginning. When the news of Ragnar's death reached Norway, his sons Ivar the Boneless, Bjorn Ironside, and Sigurd Snake in the Eye decided to avenge their father. They gathered a large army and attacked England. Ragnar's sons, with the courage and war skills inherited from their father, attacked King Aella and eventually defeated him. They saw their father as a hero and proudly carried his name everywhere. And so the story of Ragnar and the Vikings, with all their ferocity, adventures, and humor, became one of the greatest legends in history. Although Ragnar lost his life, his name remained immortal in history, and future generations of Vikings were inspired by his bravery and adventures.
To our fate, yes, we proceed. On the shores rough we'll land, with fire and command, to the rhythm of war drums, till the battle is sung. Oh, the iron in our veins, as the legends take the reins, with the thunder in our souls, to the gates we go. Valhalla calls us home, where the gods reign alone. From the fields we fight and bleed, to our fate, yes, we proceed.